Alright, hello once again. Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College Application and Website Development, or AWD program, and in particular the AWD 1111.NET Framework with Web Databases class, I am going through a series, or creating a series of video presentations based on the textbook that's going to be used for this class for the fall 2019 semester. That is ProASP.NET MVC 5, an A-Press book by Adam Freeman. I am just about through Chapter 5. In fact, I left off on the bottom of page 114 where the author gives one additional C# Razor example where he says, as an additional demo, listing 517 shows the addition of an if statement to the demo expression CS HTML file. As you might imagine, this is a commonly used statement. So, if it's out of stock, as you can see down here towards the bottom, we'll say out of stock. If it's 1, we'll say below stock. And otherwise, we'll give the count. So what we're doing is we're replacing what we used earlier in here. So we're replacing this switch. Let me highlight all of it and comment it out. It'll give us our Razor comment syntax. So we're replacing that with an if statement. Now we'll get an error right now. Don't let that bother you at all, because we're going to fix this momentarily. Alright, so there's our if statement with our curly brace. So as I turn up here to the next page, there's the rest of our code. It's doing the same thing that we did previously. Again, the only difference is, this time, as we're doing it, let's see, we've got, not sure why that out of stock thing is shown right there. I think that out of stock, in fact, I'm pretty positive here, should have been put right here. There. So if it's 0, out of stock. If it's 1, low stock. Otherwise, just give the count. So this statement should produce the same results as the switch. And the author just did it to demonstrate that either one, in this case at least, could be used. So let's do a save all. Let's right mouse click on demo expression.cshtml and view it in the browser. And you can see it looks the same. All right, for the last demo that the author will be providing for this chapter, which is starts on the upper half of page 115 and goes on to 116 and 117, and that is talking about enumerating arrays and collections. When writing an ASP.NET MVC app, you will often want to enumerate or go through the contents of an array or some type of collection and generate content that details each object. To demonstrate, the author defined a new action method called demo array. All right, and that is shown on the bottom of page 115 right here. So let's copy that. We will go back then to our home controller. Hopefully it's really starting to make sense to you that we would put this in the home controller as it is an action method. So there's that. Let's move this over a bit. A little bit of white space in there. Looks a little nicer. You've already seen this kind of thing. In fact, we may have used this, almost this exact code earlier. All right. So this method creates a product array object that contains simple data values, as you can see, a name and a price, and it passes them to the view method so that the data is rendered using the default view. The Visual Base or Visual Studio scaffold feature won't let you specify an array as a model type. To create a view for an action method that passes an array, the best method is to create a view without a model and then manually add the model expression after the file has been created. So in the listing that starts on the middle top, I guess the top part of page 116 in our text, the author shows the demo array.cs HTML file. I am going to grab all of this just so I've got it and save it. And then we're going to come back into here. We're going to right mouse click on here, choose add view, which will be demo array. It will be empty. All right. The model class will be product. Now I'm going to uncheck this and click add because it should be using our default now. All right. Okay. So then we're coming in here and we're changing that. Now notice that at model razor.models.product. All right. Notice how that changes. It now has the brackets to show that indeed we're using an array. All right. So this says if the model length is greater than 0, so if we have more than one of them, then go in and show the name and the price. Otherwise, just say no product data. And as the author mentions toward the bottom of page 116, he used an if statement right there on line 8 to vary the content based on the length of the array, and also use the for each expression to go and iterate through everything. In this case, it's just the name and the price. All right. Also, we'll just throw an H2 element out there if there isn't anything that meets that criteria. So let's look. Let's do a file, save all. We will right mouse click on our demo array and choose view in browser. Sorry, I have to stop for a sec. All right, sorry about that. I wanted to check and see. It did not look like. Yep, I've got the same information here as what is shown on the top of page 117. All right, and not meaning to fib to you before, but there is one little section that takes up the last page or two of the chapter, and that is dealing with namespaces. So I'm halfway down on page 117. You will notice that I had to refer to the product class by its fully qualified name here, for each razor.models.product. This can become annoying in a complex view where you have many references to a view model and other classes. So we could have said using razor.models and then model product. So let's try to take this off. Try that again. And again. So we will come back to here and we will, let's comment this one out and replace it with this. Now we can come in and say for each product. All right. In fact, let's do this. Let's take this line and comment that out. right, copy the line. Oops. Put it on the next line and just use the word product. All right, all the changes again that we're making are in the .cs HTML file. So we will save all. We will go back to our run, and I will refresh. And if it does not change, and it looks like it's not, and it doesn't give us any errors, you'll see that indeed this worked. So a view can contain multiple using statements, just so you're aware of that. The author has used the using expression to import Razor model namespace, and that meant we could remove that from our for each loop. So in this chapter, this was just meant to be an overview of the Razor engine and how it can be used to generate HTML. All right. In the next chapter, the author will describe the essential development and testing tools that kind of underlie the model view controller framework to help you get the most out of whatever it is you're trying to work on. I will mention it's not a particularly long chapter, but taking a quick look at it, as I have done, there's a lot of stuff in it. It's long enough. It's about 30 pages, a little over 30 pages. So we're going to talk more about dependency injection, unit test framework, and what's called a mocking tool. So I'll be back with that very shortly.